government of the African Union in Addis Ababa. At the summit, President Evariste Ndayishimiye of Burundi formally assumed office as the new chairman of the African Union for 2026, succeeding President João Manuel Conclaves Lourenço of Angola. No fewer than 49 heads of state and government attended the session, alongside global leaders including UN Secretary-General Antonio Guterres and Italian Prime Minister Giorgia Meloni. In his welcome address, Ethiopian Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed Ali called for unity among African leaders to drive socio-economic transformation across the continent. The summit, themed around sustainable water availability and safe sanitation under Agenda 2063, highlighted key priorities such as climate change, infrastructure, peace and security. Outgoing AU Chairman President Lourenço presented a scorecard of his tenure, noting progress in inclusive growth, infrastructure development, and human capital investment. He also urged the strengthening of the AU security and conflict resolution mechanisms to address emerging threats across the continent.
Water is more than a resource. It is a foundation of development, innovation, and stability. It shapes our cities, our farms, our health, and our peace. Here in Ethiopia, we have learned that responsible water management is central to guiding development wisely. The Grand Ethiopian Renaissance Dam now powers homes and industry, exports electricity to neighboring countries, and shows how African ingenuity can drive shared prosperity.
Gratitude runs deep. I will carry with me always the unwavering decisive support of the African group in the UN on issue after issue, initiative after initiative, in the shared struggle for justice and equality. Your solidarity has not only strengthened our efforts, it has moved me deeply, and I will never forget it. From day one of my mandate, we forged the UN partnership with the African Union rooted in respect, constant dialogue, and unwavering solidarity.
In the meantime, United Nations Secretary-General Antonio Guterres has called on Nigeria to spearhead Africa's campaign for a restructured global order, describing the country as uniquely positioned to lead the continent towards superpower status. Guterres made the remarks during a bilateral meeting with Vice President Kashim Shettima on the sidelines of the 39th African Union Summit in Addis Ababa. He commended President Bola Tinubu's economic reforms and Nigeria's leadership in stabilizing West Africa and the Sahel region, despite domestic security challenges. The UN chief further noted that Nigeria's large population, democratic continuity, vast natural and human resources, and commitment to multilateralism place it in a strong position to drive Africa's influence in the evolving global architecture. The meeting also focused on strengthening Nigeria-UN cooperation in economic growth, peace and security, sustainable development, and humanitarian response. Vice President Shettima, however, reaffirmed Nigeria's commitment to multilateralism and renewed the country's call for comprehensive reform of the United Nations system, including Africa's stronger representation and Nigeria's bid for a permanent seat on the United Nations Security Council. Both leaders pledged deeper collaboration, with Guterres expressing continued UN support for Nigeria's reform agenda and expanding regional leadership role. Here in Nigeria, President Bola Tinubu has praised the Argungu International Fishing Festival, describing the 83-year-old cultural event as a symbol of unity, resilience, and peaceful coexistence. The president, who attended this year's festival in Argungu, Kebbi State on Saturday, said the event reflects the richness of Nigeria's cultural heritage. He said the festival has endured for 83 years, standing as a powerful symbol of unity, resilience, and peaceful coexistence among the people. Tinubu emphasized that adequate security is essential for cultural events of such magnitude to thrive and attract tourists. He attributed the success of this year's festival to improved security in Kebbi State and other parts of the country. President Tinubu made it clear that a socio-cultural event of such kind can only thrive and become a tourism attraction where the security atmosphere is conducive, expressing delight that significant progress has been made in combating insecurity across Kebbi and other parts of the nation. According to the president, the relative peace currently being experienced in the region is the result of deliberate efforts. Tinubu assured Nigerians that the fight against insecurity, including banditry and insurgency, will be won, stressing that farmers, fishermen, traders, and families will continue to go about their activities without fear. To the National Assembly, where the House of Representatives has announced that it will reconvene for an emergency sitting on Tuesday, February 17, 2026, to consider matters arising from the recent release of the 2027 general election timetable by the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC. The announcement was made in a statement signed by the House spokesperson, Honorable Akin Rotimi. He explained that members were notified through an internal memorandum issued by the Office of the Speaker late Friday, highlighting the constitutional and national importance of the development and the need for timely legislative attention. The statement emphasized that the emergency sitting demonstrates the House's resolve to respond promptly to issues with far-fetching implications for Nigeria's democratic process. Deliberations are expected to focus on legislative matters related to INEC's announcement in line with the constitutional duties of the National Assembly. All legislative business relating to the matter is expected to be addressed expeditiously, the statement said. Honorable members have been strongly advised to prioritize attendance given the importance of the issues under consideration. The House reaffirmed its commitment to strengthening Nigeria's democratic institutions through responsive and responsible lawmaking, ensuring that all actions are in the best interest of Nigerians. In another development, the House of Representatives Ad hoc Committee probing power sector reforms and expenditure from 2006 to 2024 has constituted a 7-man subcommittee to conduct a forensic audit of gas supply to electricity generation companies, GENCOs, nationwide. The move followed a motion by Harrison Nwadike, who raised concerns over the continued supply of gas to the non-functional moribund Sapele power plant in Delta State. Nwadike said the anomaly was uncovered during the committee's oversight visit, noting that despite receiving gas for over a year, the plant has failed to generate electricity. While chairman of the ad hoc committee, Al-Mustafa Aliyu, acknowledged public concerns that inadequate gas supply was crippling power generation, Seplat Energy dismissed the allegations. Managing Director of the moribund Sapele Power Plant in Delta State, Ibi Ada Itoto, insisted the company remains committed to Nigeria's power sector reforms, while the firm's general manager, Gas, Olubukola Fasoyin, disclosed that the Sapele Power Plant owes Seplat about 20 billion naira for gas supplied. Unconvinced, The committee alleged possible diversion of gas and constituted a subcommittee chaired by AFAM Victor Ogene to carry out the forensic audit and report back to the committee on the utilization of gas supplied to power plants in 2 weeks.
I do hereby move a motion that a proper forensic audit on utilization of gas purportedly supplied from Seplat through NGIAC to Saple Power Holding between January of 2022 to December 2024 be looked into by a subcommittee. I so move.
But I want to emphasize, MD, we are so happy that you are here today and you have seen it for yourself. I want to emphasize that this engagement is critical. Achieving one, Seplat, our initial conviction about the company is that you are a very strong partner, a partner that you all want to rely on in the energy sector, before, now, and maybe going forward. Second, it will go a long way for you to earn the confidence of not only the National Assembly but Nigerians, that for you, you have done your due diligence. Our major challenge may be not on your part. You know, the investigation, I'm not preempting what will come out.
We did take the trouble as we started to sort of shed more light on the process of gas supply. And we are all aware of the basic principles of invoicing. And invoicing and reconciliation means that both the off-taker and the supplier are agreeing that this is the volume that was taken. So from the point of view of Seplat, we do have that documentation, those reconciliation records from the off-taker saying they've taken the volume. It is not a contractual obligation to visit the plant or the supplier. It's a good thing to do, which, as Mr. Fashorin said, he has tried to do at least recently and was unable to gain access. However, as far as the paperwork is concerned, the off-taker has been agreeing that they have been taking this gas, and that remains the position of Seplat.
The Lagos State Environmental Protection Agency, LASEPA, in collaboration with the United Nations Industrial Development Organization, has marked a day of awareness on plastic circular economy in Lagos. The event, themed Promoting Sustainable Plastic Value Chains Through Circular Economic Practices, brought together stakeholders from government, industry, environmental groups, and the private sector to address the growing challenge of plastic waste management in the state. Speaking at the event, the Permanent Secretary, Office of Environmental Services, Omobolaji Gaji, emphasized the importance of environmental sustainability and collective responsibility in waste management. Dr. Gaji, who was represented by the Director of Sanitation Services, Lagos State Ministry of the Environment and Water Resources, Dr. Hassan Sanut, noted that the program was designed to deepen public understanding of the benefits of effective waste management through the circular economy model. They noted that adopting circular economy practices will not only reduce plastic pollution, but also create economic opportunities, jobs, and innovation within the waste management value chain. In his address, the General Manager LASEPA, Dr. Babatunde Ajayi, who was represented by the Director, Land and Water Pollution Department, Coco Faderera, reiterated the significance of the seminar and the agency's partnership with UNIDO and the government of Japan. Dr. Ajayi urged participants to engage actively in discussions, share ideas, and apply the knowledge gained to promote recycling and environmental responsibility within their communities. The UNIDO project field coordinator, Charles Uzoma, emphasized the importance of partnerships in driving sustainable industrial development, adding that circular economy models help conserve resources while promoting environmental protection.
Use and recycle. Most of the things that we count as waste now are no longer waste. Take for instance, plastic, used oil. Even the plastic are now being recycled to things that we can use in the house, for things that we can use even as clothes, as clothing. There are so many things. So and secondly, we need to increase the awareness on plastic, the challenges of plastic in Lagos State, and also the ban on styrofoam and other plastics that have been banned by the Lagos State government.
People to begin to think inward. Like I said while I was making the presentation, we are all governments. So we need to begin to take responsibility for our actions. You have a responsibility to your environment, to your health. So you know that the implication of this plastic, if it is disposed improperly, is adverse to your health. It's adverse to your environment. So you are bound to begin to look at how you can improve your environment and do the right thing and pass the message across to others.
The sustainability that we've been following is one, let people know. People should be aware. If you know that there's danger here, possibility of people running away, that we have been doing. Government have instituted a policy. The policy banned some material, the policy restricted some material. Let people be aware of those policies. What is banned, what should not be used, and what those that are allowed to be used, how should they be used? These are to make it sustainable. Secondly, thirdly, is that government should put in place or have put in place effective monitoring and enforcement so that there should be consequences for non-compliance to government policy and law. So once people know all this, I think it will become sustainable.
Plastic waste remains one of the most visible pressing environmental challenges we face today. Globally and in Nigeria, plastic consumption has increased rapidly, while systems for collection, segregation, and recycling have not grown at the same pace. As a result of this, plastics continue to leak into our streets, drainage systems, waterways, and ultimately the ocean. All of these pose serious risks to public health, the environment, and livelihoods.
The Lagos State government has handed over provisional letters of allocation to 180 initial beneficiaries in Alaba Transnational Market, Alaba Rago at Ojo local government area, as approved by Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu. Speaking at the distribution of provisional letters of allocation to stakeholders held at Ikeja, Special Advisor to the Governor on Enterprise Geographic Information Service and Urban Development, Olajide Babatunde, assured that the state government will look at the development plan of the market and build the access road to make it motorable. He restated the commitment of the state government to partnering a conventional bank and other private sector to achieve a seamless process at Alaba Rago Transnational Market had been developed into the world-class standard, urging traders to keep the environment clean and shun roadside trading. Babatunde also said the Alaba Rago Transitional Market, when completed, would consist of a total of 3,000 shops, stating that the state government is presently developing 21 markets among other infrastructure. In his remarks, the chairman Central Committee, Alaba Rago Market, Hussaini Muhammad, who spoke on behalf of the traders, thanked the Lagos State government through the Ministry of Urban Development for its support, which had transformed the market to meet international standards.
3,000 market stores, we are building banks, we are building clinics, police station, we are building an abattoir, we are building a trailer park, we are building quite a number of things. We are building road networks, we are building fence, we are building gates, gate houses. But the first 180 that was published last year when they were completed, you know, are the ones that we're giving out. I mean, very soon it will, to ramp up to about 600 because the other blocks are being worked on and we'll soon be doing those allocations. For every allocation that we do, it comes with Mr. Governor's approval. So the first 180 have just been receiving their letters of allocation, 5 copies. One will go to the allotee, one will go to the debt management office, one will go to UBA, one will go to Alaba Transnational, and one will stay in our office.
3 block is completed. It's almost 100% completed, and it is allocated to us today for 180 marketers in Alabarago. We really appreciate, we really thank, and we all of us, the Alaba community, Alabarago community, both the one which they are on is not yet full, but everybody is thanking, appreciating the promising the Lagos State government did. They say that the market is for us, not for outsiders. We are the first refusal that everything will be full for us unless we say we are not buying before outsider will come and buy. So we really appreciate for the promise they fulfill.
We'll take a break now, and when we come back, we'll give you more reports. Please stay with us.
This Ramadan, tensions rise and hearts are tested. 2 rival sisters can love in what pride broke. A defiant daughter, will she earn forgiveness? A young bride, can her faith bring her husband back? A wealthy businessman forced to friendship and fame. A single mother learning that even strength needs support. 6 stories, 30 days. Faith, family, friendship, food, and forgiveness. Tales of Ramadan Season 2. Watch every dramatic moment on TV and digital. This Ramadan, my returns of the heat.
Welcome back. Lagos State government has again emphasized that obtaining building permits is critical before construction of any project commences for safe and legal development, warning that unapproved structures risk demolition as it will not hesitate to ensure strict compliance. The Commissioner for Physical Planning and Urban Development, Dr. Oluyinka Olumide, stated this in Lagos investiture ceremony of Town Planner Hakeem Badijo as the 12th President of the Association of Town Planning Consultants of Nigeria and inauguration of the Executive Committee. He said some landowners or developers avoid permits which ensure safety, prevent building collapse, increase property value, and facilitate loans or embassy verification, but made it clear that despite earnings from government agencies that such construction projects should stop, such landowners or developers remained defiant. The Commissioner stated that any construction site operating without the engagement of registered and competent building professionals should not be allowed to proceed, adding that the ministry would continue to insist on professionalism and planning discipline across the state. In his lecture titled Role of Professionals in Good Governance, the guest lecturer and a senior lecturer at the University of Lagos, Professor Timothy Nubi, said good governance is required at this critical time of the nation when a lot of people groan, pointing out that expert advice by professionals like town planners played vital roles in helping to direct the affairs of the nation. He explained that planning advice brings development, which Nigeria urgently deserves. In his inaugural address, Town Planner Hakeem Badijo tasked town planners to ensure the interchange in progress through careful and efficient planning to bring orderliness in the society, pointing out that town planners must be proactive through 4 pillars of plan checkers, ethics and inclusive planning, technology, transparency and trust and power of consortium. The immediate past president of ATOPCON, BC Adedire, urged the federal government to embrace planning as a strategic tool for national stability at a time the country is being confronted with security challenges.
In this part of the world. And like I said there before, the number one thing which gives you authority to do any development is your permit, which is a kind of recognition from the government. Unfortunately, most of our people don't go for that, and they just move into direct construction. We agree that there is still a shortfall in terms of educating the people and letting them know the importance of a plan, because that gives them the authority, that gives them the meaning of what they want to be. And again, in most cases, they are not even knowledgeable. So it's like an advantage for them and a benefit for them that they have the government giving them the third eye to ensure that what is designed for them, what they want to commit their money on, is actually okay, that can give them peace of the mind. And in terms of demolition, like I said again, there is nobody in this world that doesn't have a name. So that name is the approval. Every building too must have a name.
Planning consultant. This means that governance isn't enforced only by law, but also by professional values and common understanding that shape decision. Institutions is equal to rules, norm, procedure, and enforcement mechanism. When planners uphold standard, governance is strengthened. When we oppose standard, governance is strengthened.
We have been perceived as regulators, not visionaries, as obstacles, not enablers, as the perpetual gatekeepers who say no to development. This narrative must change. We must become proactive, setting the plan far ahead of development. We must ask, how can these projects fly, rather than simple why it should be rejected. We must say yes to visionary projects that benefit society. We must be bold, proactive, and indispensable.
Nigeria is presently confronted with serious security concerns ranging from banditry and kidnapping to insurgency, and general insecurity across urban and rural environments. It is therefore imperative to charge the present administration to deliberately embrace planning as a strategic tool for national stability. Through inclusive planning and policy formulations, improved land use planning, proper zoning, among others, as planning can significantly contribute to reducing insecurity, restoring social order, and promoting sustainable development across the
The Association of Professional Women Engineers of Nigeria, APWEN, Lagos chapter, has commemorated the 2026 International Day of Women and Girls in Science with a renewed call for young girls to pursue careers in science, technology, engineering, and mathematics, STEM. This came amidst a clarion call on increased support for women engineers to build and innovate, as well as closing the gender gap has again been emphasized to harness the full potential of all human intelligence. APWEN President Engineer Chinyere Igwegbe made the call in Lagos at an event to celebrate the 2026 International Day of Women and Girls in Science with the theme, From Vision to Impact, Redefining STEM, Closing the Gender Gap, in collaboration with Ajeromi Felodun Local Government Area. Engineer Igwegbe, who was represented by APWEN Vice President Engineer Adedapo Aisida, said the theme, From Vision to Impact, is a call to action as the world has over the decades talked about the gender gap, while advising young girls and female students not to be limited by other people's limited imaginations. With focus on closing the gap, powering progress, the Lagos State Chairman of APWEN, Engineer Bosede Oyekunle, who was represented by the General Secretary of Engineer Suebat Abubakar. She said women make up about 35% of science graduates. They make up only 26% of the workforce in emerging fields like data and artificial intelligence, AI. Engineer Oyekunle made it clear that the gap was not about competence but access, opportunity, visibility, and sustained support, pointing out that Upwen Lagos was deliberate about changing that narrative. The guest speaker, Engineer Patricia Okpene Odili, tasked female students to embrace STEM, which can assist in acquiring skills to prefer solutions to some scientific problems in the society. She encouraged women engineers to brace up to the task of forging ahead in promoting technology and innovations in nation building. There was a commitment from Upwen Lagos and the Council to continue empowering, mentoring, and inspiring the next generation of female engineers and scientists.
If you say technology is built by scientists, so you should now realize that it should be a very, very sad thing for girls to be missing in technology. It should be a very, very sad thing for girls to be missing in science. Is that not so? So if you want to be an engineer, you have to study science. If you want to be a medical doctor, you have to study. If you want to be a scientist, a researcher, you have to study what?
We celebrate you today to challenge you to go back and form little groups and think of something that can help your neighborhood, that can help your school, that can help your family, that can help your society, and eventually help Nigeria and the world at large to be a better place for everyone to live in. Let your resolutions be actionable. Let your impact be undeniable. To the youngest here, watch, listen, and dream without limits. The women on this stage are proof that your dreams are valid. And as May Jennison, the first African-American woman in space, declared, never be limited by other people's limited imaginations.
Through our STEM outreach, competition, and innovative initiative, we spark curiosity, nurture creativity, and equip girls with hands-on exposure to technology, AI, robotics, and emerging engineering solutions. We also recognize excellence through awards and scholarship, ensuring that talent is not just discovered, but supported.
In the US, you syndrome, people get better jobs are those who are in science. So you see there's vacancy in the whole world, not only in Nigeria, in the whole world. And today, Upwen is telling you emphatically that there is a space for you in the workforce. And it is still serving the people, the good people of Ajerome Felodu, local government. So, on behalf of my executive chairman once again, I want to admonish you, our children, the ladies, that by the special grace of God, going forward from this program today, medical doctors will come out of you, successful engineers will come out of you, successful accountants, IT gurus.
The chairman of Ayobo Ipaja Local Council Development Area, Lukman Abiodun Agbaje, has unveiled plans to leverage the forthcoming Miss Ayobo Ipaja Beauty Pageant as a platform to promote environmental sanitation, community safety, and youth engagement. Speaking at a press conference in Lagos, Agbaje said the maiden edition of the pageant is designed to go beyond glamour and entertainment, positioning it as a tool for environmental advocacy and grassroots participation across the council area. Agbaje stressed that youth participation is critical to achieving sustainable development, adding that the pageant would inspire young people to take responsibility for their environment and become ambassadors of cleanliness and safety within their communities, while calling on residents, corporate organizations, and community leaders to support the initiative and collaborate with the Council in sustaining a cleaner Ayobo Ikpaja. In her remarks, the Executive Director of Hasti Global, Olawumi Hastrop, described beauty pageantry as an effective platform for fostering youth unity and peaceful coexistence in Ayobo Ikpaja LCDA, adding that the initiative is designed to channel the energy, creativity, and potential of young people into productive ventures while discouraging social vices and promoting positive values. She emphasized that the pageant is not merely a contest of physical beauty, but a program that encourages leadership development, talent expression, cultural appreciation, and community service. Hastrop expressed optimism that the initiative will strengthen social harmony and serve as a model for youth-driven development and peaceful coexistence within the council area.
Task force on environmental distance for telling people not to put their waste indiscriminately in Ayobo Ikpaja LCDA. So in that time we have arranged a task force for the environment. Then because of that, when I now say okay, we wanted to do the beauty pageant, as far as Ayobo Ikpaja is concerned, we see that at least in terms of the environment cleanliness, we want to make sure that the people of Ayobo Ikpaja, they don't discriminate their refuse indisposable.
This year our theme is centered around cleaner environment for Ayobo Ikpaja LCDA. And our goal is not just to crown a winner, but to empower young women to become ambassadors for change and role models in their community.
We want to empower the young ladies of Ayobo Ikpaja, and also because of the environmental manias in the community. So we believe that with this initiative, it can help improve the environment from all this littering and refuse dumping, because also, apart from empowering the young girls, and the project is not just about the beauty, it's also about building confidence, building, knowing their talents.
The Vice-Chancellor of Olabisi Onabanjo University, Agowoye, Professor Ayodeji Agbola, has described engineering as the backbone of every sector and solution providers to societal challenges. Speaking at the 11th graduation membership and induction ceremony for engineering graduates of the university into the Nigerian Society of Engineers and Council for the Regulation of Engineering in Nigeria, COREN, Professor Agbola emphasized the critical role engineers play in shaping the future of the nation. The ceremony, which held at the Faculty of Engineering, Ibogun campus, saw over 300 engineering graduates inducted into the professional bodies. The inductees were urged to remember the importance of their profession as solution providers and to impact positively on the development of the country.
Today marks the beginning of a transformative journey, one that holds boundless possibility for all of you. And I also want to say that the future is bright for all of you that graduated from this university.
Build a portfolio of every project you touch from today. Don't lay back. Do your best. Seek knowledge. Ensure you know what it is. Invest in CPD, continuous regional development.
Ensuring that engineering practice in Nigeria remains globally competitive. Your mentorship, regulation, and professional guidance continue to shape the future of engineering practice in our nation, Nigeria.
In a significant move towards youth empowerment, the National Youth Alliance inaugurated 137 local government coordinators across southwest states at an event held in Ibadan, Oyo State. The gathering brought together young Nigerians advocating for increased involvement in policy making, governance, and leadership roles. Speaking at the event, National Youth Alliance President Ambassador Aliyu bin Abbas stressed the importance of youth participation in shaping Nigeria's future. Ambassador Abbas expressed concern that prolonged leadership by older generation has hindered Nigeria's progress, stating that it was time for the old leaders to retire and pass the baton of leadership to the youth. Chairman of the occasion, Gbadebo Road Vival, echoed these sentiments, emphasizing the need for youth energy to drive national development. He pointed to examples of developed countries that have successfully harnessed youth potential to advance their societies. Other notable speakers included Ambassador Professor Yemi Farounbi, who highlighted the trend of past leaders assuming power in their youth but failing to relinquish it as they aged. He urged current leaders to emulate positive examples and create opportunities for younger Nigerians. Adebola Doherty addressed the crippling challenges caused by ineffective leadership, expressing delight that organizations like NYA are championing the cause of youth leadership and inclusion. The event marked a significant call to action for Nigerian youth to take a more active role in governance and leadership.
Initially, we planned to register the National Youth Alliance as a political party to provide platform for young people and women in the 2027 general elections. But unfortunately, our constitutional rights were denied by the Independent National Electoral Commission. They denied our constitutional rights by rejecting our registration. So as young people that live in Nigeria, we decided to continue projecting the NYA as a movement. Because as far as we're concerned, the future of this country lies in our hands. We are going to register as many young people and women as possible between now and 2027 by the special grace of God. We are targeting 40 to 50 million young Nigerians. 2 weeks ago.
How many people are paying for life cheaper now than they were paying in 2023? And if you are young and you did not vote in 2023, you will say that, exactly. I don't know, is there Bande in Ibadan? You are getting life. So, whether you like politics or not, it will affect you.
Nigeria is suffering from the exclusion of the majorities from the power side, and indeed the recycling of leadership. Our problem may not be that the youth are not empowered. Because as the chairman said, at 32, Gowon was head of state. At 28, the SSP was governor. At 37, Obasanjo was military head of state. Tinubu was what age when he became governor? Kanu, the governor of Abia, was what age?
Still from Oyo State, Ambassador Olufemi Oguntoyibo, a leading PDP governorship aspirant in Oyo State, has kick-started the distribution of 10,000 free JAMB forms to students in the state. Over 200 students from Lagelu local government area received their forms, with plans to cover all 33 local governments. Imole Ayo Shola Idowu, representing Ajadi, said the program aims to improve Oyo State's educational system and support the less privileged. Beneficiaries Adigun, Rashidat Ololade and Abdul Rashid Adebayo expressed gratitude, praising Ajadi's kindness and generosity.
Is part of the idea and the supportive initiative he has always been doing. This is not the first time he has come with this idea. This idea is all about the people. He has just chosen to step on the footstep, walk on the footstep of engineer Seyi Makinde, who has also come into the educational system of Oyo State and also make it very, very beautiful.
Power we youth. Because there are many candidates. They came to me that they have no strength or money to obtain this form. So, and this is the step to future. So I encourage them to please empower we youth.
Many of us don't have hopes of getting this thing, but through his empowerment, we're able to register for it.
Me, I don't have money.
Residents of Ilesha City in Osun State have described several road infrastructure embarked upon by the federal government and Osun State government as a major boost for the city mobility and economy. MITV correspondent Jamiu Omoniyi observed the current situation in the city. Here is the report.
This is Ilesha, the headquarters of Ijesha land and one of the major cities in Osun State. Ilesha is one of the large economic bases of the state. The city has for long endured a deplorable road network despite several interventions from successive Osun State governments. The situation is now changing with the dualization of Ereja Square roundabout by the state government following the commencement of the Ilesha-Ife-Ibadan Expressway by the federal government.
You can spend up to 2 hours before you get from the roundabout. But today, for this double lane in roundabout, you can see how the Okadas are moving free, motors are moving free.
This development, according to residents, is commendable.
Kò wá síbi tó jẹ́ pé wọn ti máa ń sọ̀rọ̀ gọ́vnà wa nípa ọ̀nà yìí. Ó jẹ́ oríyìn, ó dẹ̀ jẹ́ ìdùnnú ńlá fún àwa ọmọ Ìjẹ̀ṣà. Ó jẹ́ ògo fún wa gan, inú wa dùn.
Osun State government, however, appeared to road users to exercise caution while plying the road to avoid any casualty.
We have Ademoroti Street in Ilesha. We have Obotitun to Kesha community to Anoye Road that has been completed. We have Alaji Olasupo Bonke Road in Ilesha that has been completed. We have Itaufa, Oromu, Araromi Market Gate that has been completed. We have Adapmosha Market to Biten to Omofe Road that has been completed. We have Imose to Justice Onibokun Street to Babajide Junction, Ilesha, it has been completed.
The road network is expected to ease vehicular movement and aid commercial activities in the area. From Ilesha, Jamiu Omoniyi, MITV News.
You're still watching MITV Primetime News. We'll take a break now. We'll bring you foreign reports. Welcome back. The chairman of the African Union Commission, Mahmoud Ali Yusufu, says the extermination of the Palestinian people must end as dozens of heads of state gather for the regional body's 39th summit in the Ethiopian capital, Addis Ababa. Yusuf, who was elected to head the institution a year ago, declared on Saturday that in the Middle East, Palestinian and the suffering of its people also challenge AU leaders' consciences. The annual meeting is expected to focus on ruinous wars and security in the region, as well as governance challenges around the world, threats to democracy and climate change, including water sanitation and water-linked climate shocks. Yusufu added that international law and international humanitarian law are the basis of the international community, as he called for the lifting of the Israeli blockade of humanitarian goods into the besieged Palestinian territory. Israel's genocidal war in Gaza has killed at least 72,045 people and wounded 171,686 since October 2023 and continues despite a ceasefire. UK Prime Minister Keir Starmer on Saturday warned that Europe must urgently rearm and reduce its over-reliance on the United States, declaring that the ground of peace is softening under NATO leaders' feet amid growing threats from Russia. Speaking at the Munich Security Conference, he called for a more European NATO, deeper UK-EU defense ties, and significantly higher military spending, while maintaining that the US remains an indispensable power. Starmer said Europe must move from overdependence to interdependence, strengthen its industrial and military coordination, and confront political forces soft on Russia and weak on NATO. He said there's no British security without Europe and no European security without Britain, urging allies to spend more, deliver more, and coordinate more to safeguard democracy and stability. Starmer stated that Russia has proved its appetite for aggression, bringing terrible suffering to the Ukrainian people, while leaders have repeatedly looked the other way, only rearming when disaster is upon them, pointing out that there must be a change now. He also announced that the UK will send a fleet of warships and fighter jets to the Arctic in 2026, with the US, Canada, and other NATO allies will play a role in the operation, adding that the UK needs deeper links with the European Union. US President Donald Trump says regime change in Iran is the best thing that could happen, signifying one of his clearest endorsements for replacing the clerical establishment. The U.S. president made the remarks after visiting troops at Fort Bragg in North Carolina, where he was pressed by reporters on whether he wanted to see a change in government in Iran. Trump declined to name who he hoped would assume control from the clerical regime, saying only there are people. Iran's clerical ruler, Ayatollah Ali Khamenei, has not yet responded to Trump's latest remarks. He said the world's largest aircraft carrier, the USS Gerald R. Ford, was being sent to the Middle East in case talks between the US and Iran fail to produce an agreement. The Pentagon sent the aircraft carrier in January after the US threatened to strike Iran to stop a government crackdown on mass protest in which thousands of people were killed. We'll take a break now and bring you sport news. Welcome back. East African supremacy continued at the Lagos City Marathon as Kenyan and Ethiopian runners topped the men's and women's 2026 races. Kenya's Ezra Kipchumba Keren showcased exceptional stamina on Saturday, clinching victory at the 2026 Access Bank Lagos City Marathon with a remarkable finishing time of 2 hours 11 minutes and 55 seconds. Karen pulled away from a strong elite field, combining strategy and composure to deliver a commanding finish at Eko Atlantic City. In the women's category, Ethiopia's Meseret Dinke claimed first place, completing the race in 2 hours 37 minutes and 36 seconds. Mark Guehi scored his first goal for Manchester City to seal a 2-0 win over Minos Salford in the FA Cup fourth round, while Burnley suffered an embarrassing exit against Mansfield on Saturday. Pep Guardiola's side took an early lead through Alfie Dorrington's own goal, but they made hard work of seeing off their fourth-tier opponents at the Etihad Stadium. There were only 9 minutes left when City defender Guehi delivered the decisive blow with his maiden goal since signing from Crystal Palace in January. City beat Salford 8-0 in the FA Cup third round last season, and it took just 6 minutes to breach the Minnows' defense again. Talking tennis, LeBron James became the oldest player in NBA history to record a triple-double as the Los Angeles Lakers defeated the Dallas Mavericks 124-104. The 41-year-old finished with 28 points, 12 assists, and 10 rebounds, surpassing the previous record held by Karl Malone, who was 40 years and 127 days old. James's historic performance helped Los Angeles snap a 2-game losing streak while improving to 3-0 against Dallas this season. The Lakers seized control in the third quarter with a 13-2 run to open a 94-80 lead, then extended the advantage early in the fourth. James scored 4 points during a 6-0 bust before securing his triple-double with a rebound in the closing minutes. And that's it on MITV Primetime News. Thanks for watching. I am Jumoke Michaels. Good night.